Episode 21. Thank you all for listening to Episode 20, Ovaltine Dream, and Andre the Giant Bird story. I am Gary, here with my co-host,
Bear.
And
Jake.
Jake is here to fill in for our mainstay, Brandon, who's off.
Who?
Brandon.
Who?
What?
Who?
He's off the next 6 episodes.
I thought Mike Jones was here, sorry.
He's off the next 6... Off the next 6... I can't even talk now.
Good.
6 episodes.
We're just trying to forget about Brandon, that's all.
To focus on his future career. Obviously, he has no faith in the podcast for a future career. So,
I mean, we have, 5 sponsors?
Yeah.
I mean, we've done that in, what did you say it was episode 22?
Yeah, so it's been since July.
Realistically, we're on pace for...
1,000.
About as many as the lottery that I didn't win last night by next year.
$1.6 billion. You see that one ticket was a winner in South Carolina?
South Carolina.
And they can remain anonymous.
I would remain anonymous no matter what.
In Ohio, are you still able to, though?
Oh, yeah.
In some states, I feel like you can't.
Even if not, I would find some lawyer or something to remain anonymous at some point.
Well, now that you know my whole Wellington thing in the NFL picks, so that is my lottery winning name, Marcus Wellington IV.
I don't even know what my lottery. I like that
because
I think mine would be Buff Bagwell.
And then I'm going to open the
Buff Shagwell.
Buff Shagwell, and then I'm going to open the Wellington Palace Hotel. And that'll be perfect.
Can I stay there for free?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's very nice.
We're going to record the podcast in the penthouse.
But yeah, no, I had
hookers and blow.
I think I put $20 in yesterday, late. I think I got to the gas station at 9:00, and I hit 4 numbers on 10 lines or 5 lines or whatever
total?
it is.
Yeah, I had 3
lines.
on 5.
So yeah, that was rough. But I do have the Powerball tonight, so I guess I can live with $660 million.
Well,
that's okay.
After taxes and
315, I'd take home off that.
So you take 315 on the.
Oh, I always take lump sum. I would never take the full
because
payments.
you can make more money over time.
I'd never live that long anyway.
Well, and you'd make more money over time regardless. So.
I didn't see what the number payout was, but I saw that it would be over 29 years.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't live that long.
No, and plus you're going to make more money investing that much money, and you can put it into guaranteed money and get 7% a year. So
I put it into CDs and get 4% a year and still wouldn't care.
Yeah, exactly. And with $300 million, that'd be your lump sum, and then after taxes, you get like $150. So still, $150 million. I think I'm okay. So you'd be all right. But what about you, Jake? Did you play any lottery?
I did not play the lottery last night. I have the Powerball tonight, though.
Oh, how many lines did you get? How much you spend?
$20.
Oh, you just spent $20 on it. What is it? Is that $3 a ticket or $2?
It's still $2.
Okay. Because I know the Mega Millions, they have the Megaplier that you can buy for an extra $1 a line. That if you hit 3 or 4 balls, it doubles your numbers by however many the Megaplier is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I said no.
I don't play the lottery enough to know that. I just kind of put money down and say, here's my donation. I actually said that yesterday when I bought the ticket. I said, here's really my donation to whoever wins all this money.
Here's my tax write-off.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I'm going to do. So anybody out there who has lottery tickets that they haven't thrown away, you can go ahead and send them to me. You could DM our Twitter account at @OverTheLine or at OTL Sports Pod, and I'll send you my address. You can just send them to me. I'll take that tax write-off.
You can just send them to my P.O. box, and I'll give them to Bear, so we don't have to give away his home address.
Oh, I don't care.
So if they they can send it your.
But that's why they have to DM me, though. Yeah. I wouldn't give it out over air.
Yeah, this is true.
I mean, that's okay. I can trust that.
But maybe,
I've trusted Twitter DMs before with fantasy football, so why not?
Yeah, right.
I'm second in that league, by the way.
How are you doing
I have
in
most
our
points
league,
scored.
Nate's league?
Oh, last.
Oh, God.
So I have one that, they split the one I'm in. It's a 12 team, so it's 6-6 in divisions. They don't have all for one. I'm first in my division, but I have the second best record, but most points. But I have Thielen and Brown, so that's pretty impressive.
That is pretty. Yeah, to have Thielen and Brown. Thielen is he's going to be the best receiver this year
in the NFL.
Yeah.
7 straight games of 100 yards. That's impressive.
What did they say? At first, he was on pace for 250 catches when the year started.
Yeah.
Last week, he was on pace for 250.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
That's nuts. And so, to get into some of our other stuff, thanks to Wes Anderson for Moments in Time. Check him out at Wes Anderson Music on Facebook. Give him a follow on Twitter at SongsByWes. He just did that other song, I Know Peanut, from 311. He did an interview with him, Meet the Collaborators. Check that out on his Facebook page. Pretty cool. And thank you to All Wear Clothing, the official merchandise provider for Over the Line Sports Podcast. If you're interested in doing business with them, mention Over the Line Sports Podcast and the owner, Brandon. Not the lazy sumbitch that's not here today. We'll give you a great deal on your clothing needs. Thanks to Crandall's Quality Lawn Care. Check them out on Facebook at Crandall's Quality Lawn Care. They can help you out with your leaves this fall, and as winter, it feels like winter's going to be here sooner than we expected. since I feel like summer ended last week and it's in the 40s already. But you can call him, 419-704-5471. He will get you some quotes on getting your leaves picked up, lawn for next year, and for your snow removal this year. He serves the Toledo and surrounding area. So those people where at, Bear?
Well, let's change it up. How about Ireland? Oh, we have Ireland, right?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, yeah, let's pick Ireland this time.
Ireland. You
I always
guys
pick
kind
on
of
Norway.
Even
so.
though Sean, I feel like Sean is Irish because he's got some red in his hair and his beard.
You know, when I was on vacation this last week, Sean posted something extremely rude while I was on the beach. So
Yeah,
you know
I saw
what?
that.
Don't get Sean, okay? Skip him for a week. Go find somebody else.
Right.
Just kidding, Sean. Love you.
Yep. Thanks to Verizon, who is a true technology business partner who helps local businesses deploy technologies that positively impact operations and can increase revenue for the company. At Verizon, we do not wait for the future, we build it. Go to their website to get in touch with a sales rep in your area. And as always, thanks to Tim and Stephanie. Bear, what's your credit score now?
I haven't checked since. I know it's been like 3 weeks now, so I'm still gonna guess 819. But on vacation, I did spend a lot of money, so hopefully I'm gonna have to pay that credit card off on time to keep that 819. Maybe it'll go up to 820 if I do that.
Right. And Jake, do you have a good credit score? Or do you even know your credit score?
Yeah, for being 22, I think like a 665 is pretty decent.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I think
Very
that's pretty
good.
well.
I mean, 665 is like where you should be anyways, regardless. So there's a lot of adults that aren't at 665. So if you're 22 and you got a 665, that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, you're still a kid, so you got plenty of time to go. But if you want to get that up from 665 over 700, visit Cassandra at PNC, who will help you out with your banking needs. Whether it be a loan, a credit card, personal banking, she's there to help. Give her a call, 419-877-0634. So now that we have Jake on, the first thing I thought of that we probably wanted to talk about, and I'll let you guys talk about this. I was actually up when it happened, and I texted Andy when it happened. But how about that fight, that NBA fight? The first game for LeBron in Los Angeles, and it turns out being a fight between Chris Paul and Rajon Rondo, and then Brandon Ingram comes in with a punch. He tried to sucker punch Chris Paul, and it was just bad overall. What is your take? Do you think Rondo actually spit on him? How do you feel about the whole thing? Who's at fault here? Whoever wants to go.
Yeah, so Rondo definitely spit on him. You can see that in the video.
He said it was tampered with, by the way. Rondo came and said that Houston tampered with that video.
There's no way they tampered with that video. You can clearly see him spitting on him. Like, there's no doubt about that.
No, I mean, he definitely spit on him. It's clear as day. I mean, Chris Paul flinched. You don't tamper video with someone spitting on you and then flinching back at the perfect time. Whether it was him actually spitting or spit coming from his mouth because he was yelling, it looked like he spit on him. It looked like his lips made the movement to go spit. Yeah, Rondo, you know, though he didn't really start it, it was more of an Ingram thing. Rondo just got involved in it. Thank you, sir. So Rondo got involved in it, and then, you know, got in Chris Paul's face. And obviously, as Brandon Ingram comes in and tried to square up with the ref, which isn't the smartest thing to do either. You know, going back through and looking and seeing how everything went down, everyone's freaking out about LeBron grabbing Chris Paul because they're best friends and not standing up for his teammates. Well, everyone's throwing punches. I mean,
and a lot of people stepped up and were pulling guys away.
Yeah, and that's how that works. It always happens on the other team. I mean, you saw it. You saw Harden come in, and I think he pulled away a couple of the Lakers guys, and, you know, vice versa. Lakers guys pulling away some Houston guys to try to get the scuffle down. You know, as stuff has come out about how now we're saying, you know, Jake and I were talking about before we started here about how Chris Paul isn't a good teammate, and how the Clippers are saying that, and how Glenn Big Baby Davis is saying Rondo is a better teammate than Chris Paul, and he takes things too seriously, and this and that. You know what? At the end of the day, you get spit on. Whether you're in the NBA, NFL, at the bar, whatever, if some dude spits on you, you're going to throw. I mean, that's just how it is. That's how men and testosterone and all that works. You don't normally just get spit on and walk away, you know, unless you're like Mick Foley or something and Randy Orton. But that's for a different podcast. Regardless, you know, it happened, whatever. I think the worst look of this whole thing is that I think the highest suspension was 4 games.
Yep,
I think
that's it.
Ingram got 4 games. I think Chris Paul got 2 games, and Rondo got 3, maybe, I want to say. 3 or 4. Yeah, and that was it. So
Yes, that guy, you're here. You should check that out.
it's a real bad look for Adam Silver, who's been a really good commissioner ever since David Stern left, to be honest with you. He's done a lot of good things, but he really dropped the ball on this one. I mean, we're talking guys swinging early season, and you see Rondo spit. Rondo should have got 7. Ingram should have got 10. I mean, he's the one that started it all. He's squaring up with refs. He's throwing wild punches
Just for
at
that,
people.
he should have got 10 games. Just for squaring up with a ref.
Even
You
to
don't do
threaten
that.
to hit him, you
Yeah.
can't do that. No, and you shouldn't be hitting the players either. But it happens. That's where we're at. Sometimes in the sport, and there is bad blood. There's going to be bad blood for the rest of the year. But man, the suspensions I think were the worst. That I'm shocked that 4 games was the highest suspension here. It's insane. Now, if it was some lower market team, if it was Utah and Cleveland that fought, I guarantee those suspensions would have been through the roof. But since it was LA and Houston, 2 teams that they're going to make money on, Players League, it's kind of dumb, but that's my opinion on it.
Yeah, and just to point this out, Ingram got 4 games, Rondo got 3, and Paul got 2.
So you were right, Bear.
Yep, you were right.
So with that, LA still hasn't won a game. Do you guys think that they'll go 500? Do you think they're going to get past that? Finally.
I mean, they had like you said, they didn't have a good team last year, and with the bad team that they had, they were whatever. They had 32 wins, 34 wins, whatever last year, and now you add LeBron to the mix, which is obviously the best player in the NBA, but you still got to mesh with these guys. LeBron, you're going to see it because Cleveland's already 0-3, and they're going to be a mess this year from what it looks like. I thought it would be a little bit better, but yeesh, they don't look very good right now. They've been down a lot so far. So to see what LeBron did with that team, who really didn't lose anybody, and they're already coming out not playing the best, and then he goes 0-3 with the Lakers, it's going to turn around. It's LeBron James. There's certain times where you can put your pedal to the metal, and I don't think he is yet. But he needs to be the facilitator and get these guys involved in the game. I also think that something else big is going to happen. I think if they keep doing this, or they're getting closer to 500 towards the All-Star break and the trade deadline, that they're going to try to get rid of some of these guys. And I think that's why you're seeing Ingram play bigger minutes, because they want to keep Kuzma around, which is, it's weird to say, like they're trying to hold him back and play the less minutes and keep Ingram there.
Kuzma played a hell of a game the other night.
And
30-some points.
I can't imagine them getting rid of him. He's better than Ingram. He's better than Ball. He's the best young guy that they have on that team. And I really think that they're trying to hold him back so he's not on that trade bait for when they want Anthony Davis here in the middle of the year, because it's going to happen. I don't care what New Orleans says about them and him not getting traded, and he's going to get traded this year.
And what's amazing to me is how tough they look. New Orleans.
Well, they put up like 155 or something ridiculous the other night.
129, and they're scoring ridiculous. Anthony Davis is a beast. They got Drew Holiday there, who's just destroying it as well. And then Etwan Moore.
Drew Holiday is probably the most underrated shooting guard in the game right now. I mean, he is a very good 2. He is a top 3 in the league, and people don't give him the credit he deserves. That dude is. I mean, he's an absolute stud.
I agree, and it'll be interesting, and I'm sure you've seen the slow motion of everything, that Rondo connected on Paul's face. And
Paul hit him with an uppercut, so they both connected.
Yeah, they did. It looked good. So to switch gears, talk about the World Series a little bit. Both my picks are there, Red Sox and Dodgers. Bears got the Dodgers, and I believe Brandon has the Red Sox, and he had the Cubs, who are out.
Yep.
But last night, so we had Kershaw and Sale, and it was an 8-4 game, so it wasn't really a pitching matchup. So if you bet the over, you looked pretty good last night. I don't even know what it was. It was probably 6 or 7.
Oh, yeah, it had to be 7.
Yeah,
probably.
It was low. And so the Red Sox are up 1-0. Do they play tonight?
Yes, they play tonight.
They play right now?
Yep.
Okay. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think I had it in 6 games, and we picked that in July, so I'm feeling pretty good about my picks right now. But we'll see what happens. Looking forward to it. NASCAR. So to recap kind of what happened at Kansas, Chase Elliott, Brandon's heart, is and he's not here to talk about NASCAR, but Chase Elliott won his 3rd race of the year. He's coming on strong when it matters, which is great. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Brandon. I do like Chase Elliott. And
I'm not happy for Brandon. No, not at all.
He is the only Chevy that is in the playoffs still. We have 5 Fords, 2 Toyotas, and 1 Chevy. The Toyotas being Kyle and Martin Truex, Chevy being Chase Elliott. All 4 Stewart-Haas cars made it into the final round of 8. And then the other one being Joey Logano. So,
and did Truex get in?
Truex is in, yeah.
He is in. Okay.
Brad Keselowski did not make it.
Okay.
So he was the one that did not make it, which is kind of tough because if you remember at the end of this regular season, beginning of the playoffs, he was on point. He was winning.
Yeah.
And it's sad to see.
He won, 3 in a row, didn't he?
Yes. And so right now your standings updated. Kyle Busch is in first. He is 40 points ahead of the cutoff. Harvick's a point behind him, 39 ahead. Truex is 23 ahead of the cutoff, and Chase is 3 ahead of the cutoff. Now, how this works, there's 4 races left. If any of these guys win a race, they're automatically in the championship race in Miami.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. And so you got Boyer, who's in 5th, 3 points out, tied with Logano, who is also 3 points out. Kurt Busch is also 3 points out. So they're all 3 points out, 5, 6, and 7. And then Almirola, who won at Talladega. Was it at Talladega?
Yeah, Talladega.
Talladega.
Yep.
Which
to get in the top 8.
And he's only 12 points out. So I'm pulling for him because he's not a guy that you see there often. We'll see what happens. So this week they're at Martinsville. Fun track to be at.
Track fun.
I don't know the name of the race. Brandon's not here. I'm sure we'll find the name of the race for this weekend. But to kind of go into it, to give an update, Barry, you want to tell us where we're at in our standings, like what our averages are?
Yeah, so after a couple lackluster weeks from you, Gary, after having a big run in the top 10 to start the whole NASCAR thing, you've gone 12, 14, 13, which Boyer finished 13th at Kansas.
And Kurt ran out of gas. That would have been a win.
I know you were rooting for the Kansas boy in Kansas, and he ended up finishing 13th. So you're up to 7.23 now.
And I just needed him to, and what I needed was a consistency. If you remember, I said he was in the top 20 for the 2 previous, so he still finished top 20, which I needed.
Yep.
But now we got to get. I got the big 3 left to pick, for this playoff. So it'll be interesting to see. And this week's race is the first data 500 or first data 500 at Martinsville on Sunday at 2:30 on NBCSN.
Yeah, it'll be chilly too. It'll probably be 55 out there. It'll be a little chilly race, which is always good for the drivers, but makes those tires a little bit more slick. So that's interesting on the short tracks. I'm sitting in 2nd right now. I finished 5th 2 weeks in a row. It's impressive. Thanks, Truex. Get you into the playoffs. I knew he was going to race hard, so that was a good pick for me. I'm at 11.31, and then Brandon finished 2nd with Kyle Busch last week. He wasn't really ever close. I actually thought he finished 3rd, and he ended up tracking down, I think.
Larson, I think, right?
Yeah, he tracked down Larson there at the end to get 2nd, excuse me. So Brandon's down to 13.39. So with 4 races left, I mean, Gary's really he's gonna have to have a couple guys wreck here in the next couple weeks. But
possible.
Anything's possible.
Yep.
It is NASCAR.
And I forgot to mention, sorry, I've got Brandon's notes here. For the NBA fight, all he said was crazy, Rondo's a bitch. That's all he said. So
that's a good thing he's off the podcast for 3 weeks. He can regroup with his great analogies there.
So let's get right into our picks. I'll start with Brandon. So Brandon this week is taking a guy that runs well here in Clint Boyer. So we're going to put Clint Boyer on the board here. And Jake, what do you got?
I got Clint Boyer as well.
Looks good. Bear?
I'm going to take Keslow this week. I think he won here last year in the fall race. I know that he's out of the playoffs, but that doesn't mean that these guys don't want money and don't want to keep winning and knock other guys out as well. So give me Keslow here, as those Fords have been running hot anyways.
And I have Truex Jr. for this week. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Truex finished 2nd and 4th in the last 2 races, so I think I'm going to go with him this week. Boyer won the last race and finished 3rd in the one before, so good picks by Brandon and Jake. It'll be interesting to see what happens. So next, going into Justin on the Twitter, with the video of Conor McGregor throwing a football going viral, what other athletes are bad at other sports? And so I'll just say Brandon's real quick. He said Barkley for the golf swing, pretty hilarious. Jordan at baseball, but he actually tried. So that's what Brandon had to say.
I mean, Jordan, didn't he bat like 230 in minor league baseball?
He batted 200 in like Double-A.
Okay, well, what Brandon bat in Double-A?
Exactly.
Now, golf, that's different. I think Brandon could beat Charles Barkley in golf, so I'm not going to make fun of him there. Yeah, Barkley, has obviously gotten better, but yeah, real bad golfer. Everyone's seen his swing. If you haven't, for some reason, seen Charles Barkley swing a golf club, look it up. It is just ugly. Not how you want to swing a golf club. But when I saw Conor McGregor throwing that football at the Cowboys game 2 weeks ago, I think it was, wow, that was bad. Didn't grab the laces, kind of just threw it up in the air. Everyone, of course, making jokes about how, he's a better passer than Dak Prescott, blah, 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 whatever. But, yeah, that was a little bit rough. I'm sure being Irish, he's probably a little bit better at soccer than he would be at throwing a football around. But, Uncle Jerry there, he loves to have as many stars and money as he can in-house. But for me, other athletes that are bad at sports, I know that, we kind of talked about Brock Lesnar a little bit before the podcast on football, and I think he kind of got a bad rap on that, and everyone was kind of going at him. Obviously, in the UFC, he's not bad. He was a champion. But you could kind of throw him in for football. I mean, you've seen guys like Carl Lewis throw a baseball right into the dirt when he does a first pitch. Now, I don't know if he's good at baseball. The man was a gold medalist in the 100-meter, so he's a pretty darn good athlete. But when you throw a baseball into the ground, you notice a lot of people do that, it seems like, when they throw out first pitches. Those are the ones that come to my head. I mean, if you're a multi-sport athlete, I don't think that you're bad at other sports. You know, it's tough to do when you got Jordan going to baseball. So this question was a little bit tricky for me. You know, you got Deion Sanders. Obviously, he was a beast in baseball and football. Bo was good at base. You know, he wasn't the best baseball player, but he was a good baseball player.
He's a monster.
So the only thing I really think of when I know that, because not many guys do multi-sports, is just when you see these athletes come and throw terrible first pitches, and you're like, how can you do that? You know, when you would think that kind of athlete, but maybe they're not quite that good of an athlete. So Carl Lewis coming to mind, throwing a terrible first pitch. That's mine.
Jake, what do you got?
So I chose Jose Canseco. So you obviously know him as.
Are you talking about the fight when he went into MMA?
Yeah, when he fought that 7'2" Choi Hung Man, and he lost in less than a minute.
Yeah, and didn't he get knocked out, and they had steroid allegations on him too?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Jose wasn't good at baseball either. Let's be honest.
No, he wasn't.
And then as far as the Conor McGregor throwing that football, he does not look like he's ever thrown a football in his life. Like, that was probably the worst looking throw I've ever seen.
No, I agree with you. And so to kind of, as we said in this podcast, wrestling is a sport. So I have CM Punk, who has not translated over into MMA. We were there, Bear and I were there for when he fought in UFC in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. When Stipe won his match, he fought, who did he? Overeem. Yeah, he fought Overeem. CM Punk looked terrible against, was it Mickey Gall that he fought and got beat?
Oh, yeah, he got destroyed.
Yeah, so give me CM Punk on that one. Jordan I had in here too. Granted, he was in AA primarily, and he only did 200, and then he came back and just won 3 more championships. So that's Jordan. But he, like you said, just to kind of piggyback off what you said, he was there. I'm not in the minors. Couldn't even play in college. You know, it's just what it is. And then I had a future pick too.
I was about to say, has anyone seen Brandon play pool basketball? Not that great either, but you know what? We don't make fun of him.
Have you seen him play regular basketball, holding his drawers up? He can't even hold his spot, you know, and he's got us. He's 3 bills. He can't even hold his spot in a rebound.
You just got to kick his flip-flop off because he doesn't wear tennis shoes.
Right. And then in future, I'm saying if Floyd Mayweather actually decides to do UFC, he will get destroyed.
Yeah, no, he never will. He's not. Granted, he can't read, but he's not that dumb. He is not that dumb of a man because, one, they're not going to give him the payday that he'll ever get on that. But there's no, unless they make him sign a contract with his own eyes because he can't read. That's about the only way he'd ever fight in the UFC, to be honest with you, because he will never, ever go in that octagon. I know that.
I agree. What do you got, Jake? You think the same?
I agree, too. The only way I can see that happening is if he does somehow get something for hundreds of millions of dollars,
and he won't in
against
UFC.
McGregor, and that will not happen again.
Nope. All right, so the next segment, which I sit back for this, Jake, and I know you've heard it, is the special segment of Brandon versus Bear. So this week, the topic Brandon already knew, and he wrote me his thoughts, was what are your thoughts on the Amari Cooper trade? So if you would like me, Bear, would you like me to read Brandon's first?
Well, we already argued about this when I was going back to the airport. And so, yeah, go ahead and read Brandon. I already know what he's going to say. It's dumb. I already have my rebuttal. So please go ahead and read Brandon's retort as he sits on his couch and eats cheesy poofs and reads his book right now.
Right. So here we go. First off, this is about Dallas. Not the terrible decisions the Lions and Browns have made. And they have made plenty over the last 50 years. So, Bear, stop being a baby. I believe this is a good trade for Dallas. They needed a number 1 receiver, and they got one in this trade. I just believe they could have got him for less. This feels like a desperate move by Jerry Jones. I get he's young. He's 24 and has a lot of upside to him, but a first-round pick? Really? Here's some research I found, and I quote, Cooper led the league in drops, 18, and drop rate, 20% in his rookie year, 2015. But then seemed to get past that issue in 2016, dropping only 4 passes. In 2017, Cooper again led the league in drop rate, 17.2%. Not only are these numbers bad, but they're historically bad. Since 2007, there have only been 3 players to see at least 100 targets and post a drop rate of 17% or worse. Braylon Edwards in 2007-2008, Greg Little in 2011, and Amari Cooper in 2015 and 17. Everybody gave Dez a hard time because of drops. Hope Amari isn't another Dez. I bet Gruden said, offer him a first round jokingly, and Jerry accepted. Great for the Raiders now. They now have, and I knew this, 3 first-round picks next year and 2 first-round picks in 2020. You can get talent in the first round, obviously, Bear. I hate when teams give up their first-round pick unless it is an unbelievable deal. I don't think this is an unbelievable deal. I think it's a good deal, but it's not an unbelievable deal. Again, I hope it works out for Dallas, but this now transitions to Dak. He has a receiver now he can go to, stretch the ball down the field with Amari, and show you can be more than average. Hashtag Bear is still a bitch.
To rebuke, I do agree with the drop. I mean, yeah, we know he drops the ball. I definitely agree with that. It's understandable. There's a lot of receivers in the NFL who drop a lot of passes. They don't pan out. Greg Little is terrible. Braylon Edwards was obviously terrible. So I understand that. That makes sense. But the whole point of this was about the trade. Okay, Dallas is going to go 7-9 or 8-8 this year. Okay, they are not going to get any talent from 15 to 19 about where they would draft of Amari Cooper. He's 24 years old. Yes, he dropped a lot of balls as a rookie, and then look what he did the second year. Once he got his repertoire down with David Carr, look, he was great. And then last year he had injury issues, and this year he's just been bad because the whole Raiders team is bad. Derek Carr is bad. Derek Carr is not a good quarterback.
In the last 4 years, he's gone down in touchdown passes every single year.
And ever since Derek Carr broke his ankle 2 years ago, ever since then, he has not been the same quarterback. He's scared. You've already seen the stuff come out saying his teammates don't care about him anymore. He cried on the field. Everyone's calling him out. They don't think he's a football player. They think he's a big sissy, to be honest with you. And I think Amari Cooper thinks that. Yes, it's the NFL. Yes, they have to be professionals. But when you're going 1-4 and 1-5, do you start to care anymore? I know you're making money. You're making good money. But honestly, he needed a fresh start somewhere else. So now, to Dallas. Giving up the first-round pick, like I said, it's going to be somewhere between 15 to 19, okay? You're not going to get any talent, especially in this draft. This draft, besides out of the top 10, is not very talented at all. You're not going to find anything. Dallas still has plenty of picks from 2nd to 7th to be able to get guys, especially with wide receiver. You don't need a wide receiver in the first round. Amari Cooper was drafted 4th overall. So I think, if anything, Dallas is getting a good deal here, to be honest with you. I think that it's going to be a good fit. Amari Cooper is great at running screens. He's great at running little tunnel screens and getting it into space and just running past all defenders. And that's what he's going to do. He's going to get it and break tackles. Dak has been struggling throwing the ball downfield. So you know what? Throw him a little bit of screens, open that game up, or open the pass game up to go deep to Gallup, as you saw as you saw Sunday against the Redskins. I was getting Washington and Sunday all mixed up, and Wednesday came out for some reason. I don't know. I'm getting a little fired up. But
Washing Day.
But my point is that this was a good trade. You're not going to get someone that good. I mean, if you tried to draft a wide receiver from 15 to 19, I think it's a mess. I mean, and to be honest with you, looking ahead to the draft, Dallas will probably draft defense anyways. I think they will. Their defense is good. Maybe another offensive lineman would have been in that 15 to 19 spot, but you can find somebody else there, especially in the second round. There'll still be plenty of talent where they're going to draft for the rest of the draft. I think they have a really good team right now, and what they needed was a number 1 wide receiver. Amari Cooper is a number 1 wide receiver, and yes, everyone compares us to Josh Gordon for some godforsaken reason. I've seen it all over Facebook and Twitter and ESPN. Well, the Patriots got Gordon for a 5th-round pick. Gordon's one failed drug test away from never playing a snap in the NFL again. So yes, that's why they got him for a 5th-round pick. If Josh Gordon was clean, 1, the Browns would have never gave him up. But 2, you would have had to spend 2 first-round picks on him because he's an absolute freak. The problem is he has off-the-field issues. That's why they got him for a 5th. It really isn't that hard to comprehend, and it's a little bit disappointing that people are looking at that. But everyone wants to bash the Cowboys. That's always how it is. I'm going to back my team. I know a bad trade when I see one. I don't know why Brandon would say this is desperation. They need a number 1 wide receiver. Everybody knows that. The only reasoning that he may think that is because Jones came out earlier and said this should be a wide receiver by committee and not, which is understandable. Jerry Jones says a lot of stupid things. He's getting old and really senile. I think this is one of his better moves. Granted, the last 2 times he's traded for a top receiver, it's been bad.
Roy Williams was bad.
Roy Williams, they gave up a lot more than this, though.
Yeah, what was it, a 1st, a 4th?
A 1st, a 4th, and a 6th, I think, or something like that. Yeah. And then before that, I can't remember who it was right now, but wasn't that great either. Actually, it might have been Rocket Ishmael, Brandon. I'm not going to lie to you. I think it might have been.
Rocket Ishmael.
Who was trash.
And
wait, no, not at Notre Dame, though. Notre Dame, he was good, but pro. He no good. Why? I don't know. He run 4.2 but can't catch football. So to recap, this was a good trade. Dallas has the cap space for it, so I'm not worried about next year. They get him for another year at $13.9 million, which they just cleared out with Witten and Romo, Dez, all these guys. They're going to have to pay DeMarcus Lawrence. We know that. But they're probably going to tag him. They don't have to pay Zeke for another 2 years. They don't have to pay Dak for another 3 years, which at the rate he's going, he's not going to get great quarterback money. He'll get decent money. So you know what? I'm not too worried about this. If it doesn't work out and he goes into free agency, I don't think it's that big of a deal because at the end of the day, you're not going to get someone who's going to develop like that in 2 years from 15 to 19. Sorry, not going to happen. Great trade. Dallas is still going 8-8 this year. I mean, this isn't going to help the world, but I think next year it's going to be really good for them. Now, granted, the way the NFC East is going right now, 8-8 might get them the division at this point. I mean, we'll get into it after when we get to our picks about how they got screwed by the refs and Jason Garrett mostly. But the way that Washington game ended pissed me off, and that was absolute trash.
And Jake, what's your take on the trade? I'll let you get in down this segment. You don't have to argue with either one. I just want to get your take.
All right, so I like the trade. You know, everyone knows, like Bear said, the Cowboys need the number one receiver, and even though he has dropped a lot of balls in the past, I do think him and Dak will get on the same page, and it's going to help the Cowboys out. If they can get their pass game going, Zeke can get going, and they can move the ball more efficiently on offense.
Yeah, I totally agree. And, they needed a number one. They didn't really have it. Now, they still have a committee. I hope they still keep Tavon Austin. They can use him. If they use him properly, he is a threat. Amari Cooper is definitely a threat. Terrence Williams is done. He's gone. He got suspended, I know, and they won't use him much. Bryce Butler, hopefully they use him a little bit as it opens it up as they go. I think, Barry, you and I were talking about doing more 4 wide receiver sets and open it up for Zeke especially.
Well, and Bryce got cut to make room for Cooper.
Did he?
Yeah, so Bryce is not on the team, which I saw coming. They were going to have to cut somebody. I was hoping it would be Terrence Williams, but unfortunately it's not. He's supposed to get disciplined by the NFL here soon, so hopefully he gets cut too. That'll be great. And I guess the only reason why they said they haven't cut him yet is because he's on IR, so there's no need. He's not taking up a roster spot, but it sounds like Terrence Williams is on his way to getting cut. But, yeah, I mean, you run those 4 wide receiver sets and run Zeke as a single back, you're going to have Gallup and Cooper on the outside, Beasley in the slot, and then Hearns can play the other slot. Hearns can play outside as well. There's still 3 tight ends. You got Swaim. Blake Jarwin, is the other one. And they have, I'm trying to think, he's a blocking tight end, so he doesn't play much. But regardless, they still have 3 tight ends.
Are you talking about the dude from Baylor?
Yeah, Rico Gathers.
Yeah.
Yep, I couldn't think of his name. He gets out for a route every once in a while. I wish they'd use him a little bit more, but they don't. But my point is that I think with these little tunnel screens, it's going to open it up. And also it opens up a lot of stuff to Zeke, You run the fake screen and hand it off to him, I mean, you're going to open a lot of holes. The offensive line isn't what it was 2 years ago, but it's still a pretty damn good offensive line. So I really think that this is going to help out if they call the correct plays. With Garrett and Linehan still there, that's the scariest part of the whole thing. That's what worries me. That's why I still want them to go 7-9 or 8-8, and they both get fired this year and get in. I think, Gary, who were we talking about?
For what?
Who do you want to be coach?
Oh, Romo. Dude,
absolutely.
Take him out of the booth. Seriously, if you're listening to him when he was calling the plays and calling it down the line, you're like, why isn't this guy coaching?
Because he knows the offense. This is the problem.
It's never changed.
He left and the offense hasn't changed. That's how he knows everything. I mean, Romo's a smart guy. He knows football,
and he can predict plays for anybody.
But you can see he can still read a defense, which
he could be the offensive and defensive coordinator for the damn team.
It would be a good head coach. I think if you gave him a coordinator spot or something like that and get someone else in. But I'm just saying, if Dallas had somebody like Sean McVay, anything like one of these young guys, Matt Nagy, who by the way is getting a bad rap, has kind of outcoached him. The Bears should be 5-1 right now, almost 6-0. They shouldn't have lost to the Packers. They shouldn't have lost to the Dolphins, and they almost tied the Patriots on a Hail Mary. I don't know if you saw that. Absolutely insane. When the bar down in Fort Lauderdale I was at, a lot of New Englanders, northeastern people down there, all the Boston people come down and do whatever the hell they do. So a lot of Patriots fans, really annoying. Besides that, and Dolphins fans, my goodness, they're bad too. And I don't like the Lions, but I was rooting for them so hard because these Dolphins fans are so damn annoying down there. So between that, almost watching the Bears tie that game up on a Hail Mary and watching all the Patriots fans sweat bullets was absolutely amazing. So, like you said, we'll get there when we get to more NFL picks. This is all about Amari Cooper. But I'm really excited for what this has to bring, whether it's the rest of this year and then next year. As long as all the key pieces stay, which I don't see anyone going anywhere, the biggest thing is going to be signing DeMarcus Lawrence. And we'll get there when we get to the offseason and preseason for next year and all that crap. But, I think this team certainly can be special. They need the right coaching, though. That's what needs to happen first. So I really hope that happens next year.
I agree with you. So let's get right into the college picks. So just to recap, we all went 5-5. So we didn't have a losing record.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, so that brings us back a little bit. We spread out quite a bit on our picks, and it all just happened to work out. So it's like, man, if we could have just combined picks like we do NFL, we'd look a lot better. So let's just get right into this. The first game, Alabama, first off, is off this week. So I'm just going to tell you now, number 1, Alabama's off. Number 4, LSU's off. Number 5, Michigan's off. Number 10, UCF's off. And number 11, Ohio State's off.
Yep.
A lot of bye weeks. So I went right down the line, and then I picked a few Big Ten games just to talk about to make picks. So first one, let's get right into it. Number 2, Clemson at Florida State. Florida State is given 16 points to start. Jake, you want to go ahead and just tell us what you got for that game?
Yeah, so Clemson's going to win. They're going to cover. I'm going to say 48-17.
I actually, you know what? After last week, I really thought NC State was going to put up a fight in Death Valley, and they didn't. They looked really bad, and Clemson looked really good. Clemson going to Florida State. Florida State has been bad all year. This has trap game written all over it. I honestly think Florida State can pull the upset. They are going to be very close in this game. I think at the end of the day, Clemson's going to pull it out, but it's going to be tight. I think it's going to be a 3-point game, and Florida State's going to cover at home.
All right, and Brandon has Clemson winning 37-14.
Thank you. I was hoping that he would have his stuff on there. I'm kind of disappointed. I'm watching you put these in as we're going here, but I was really hoping that we'd get the Brandon Clemson 37-14, but I can't do that math to see if they cover or not.
Well,
so you guys put it in.
Well, wait till we get out down here later. I had to put in his pick correctly for the Kentucky game because he picked the wrong team, and then when he says who wins, I'm like, well, wait a minute. You picked the wrong team.
That sounds about right.
So I think he gets confused.
You think?
Right. I also have Clemson. I don't really have a score. Let's just say, 16, 35-10. Next, Notre Dame at Navy, plus 24 for Navy. Brandon says, crack a cold one. Notre Dame wins 27-17. So Navy in plus 24.
What does crack a cold one have anything to do with anything?
Because he said Notre Dame's going to win. Crack a cold one for him. I also have Navy. Listening to Brandon, he does know what he's talking about when it comes to Notre Dame, except for a few weeks. Now that I've seen Ian Book kind of drop off a little bit, or Ian Gold drop off a little bit, as Bear calls him, give me Navy in plus 24, but I wouldn't be surprised if it goes the other way. It's just Navy's at home. I just don't see how Notre Dame is going to beat them by more than 24.
I don't know actually what Navy's home is. They're in San Diego. I think it's a neutral site for this. I don't think this is home. I think they're playing at the old Chargers Stadium. I'm pretty sure.
The old one in San Diego?
Yes,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure they are, but 24 is a lot with a running team. I mean, they're going to run a lot of that clock down. Navy normally plays Notre Dame tight. They won't win, but you know what? I agree with Brandon. Probably 27-17. It's going to be a hard-fought game for Notre Dame. I wouldn't be shocked if Navy gets up. I think they have before, and Brandon maybe can correct me if I'm wrong when he listens to this, but I feel like Navy's gotten up 10-0, 14-0 before on Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's come back to win. But yeah, definitely Navy here, close. Probably lose by 7, I'd say.
And Jake, what do you got, buddy?
I'm going to go, let's see, Notre Dame wins, Navy covers. Notre Dame wins 28-21, though.
Okay.
But Navy covers.
And so we all have Navy there, is what it sounds like.
Yep.
All right, the next game we have number 6, Texas at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State plus 3. Bear?
You said where? I'm sorry. Where was it? This is at Oklahoma State.
Yes.
And Oklahoma State's plus 3. That's tough. Like you said, I didn't tell everyone else, but I didn't get to look at this until 10 minutes before I left work today. So I don't know if Texas's quarterback is still out. I wish I did hear. I know Bouchel came in and looked good 2 weeks ago or last week or whatever it was. Man, give me. This is going to be a push. Texas is going to win by 3, but give me Texas by 4 just for fun. It'll be close.
Jake?
Let's see. Let's go 32-28 Texas. Covers.
So 4 points. I also have Texas covering. And Mr. Walzak had, or should I say Brandon Balsack, he has Texas winning 31-22.
Okay, good. I was hoping for that score there.
Yeah, he has a score there. So next game, number 9, Florida at number 7, Georgia. Georgia -7. He has Georgia wins 26-21.
Sorry for that slight pause. Like I said, that's tough. But Georgia at home, man. I think Florida's going to come out and just play flat. To be honest with you, I think Georgia has another tough matchup next week, or Florida does. One of the two. Florida has Bama coming up, I think. So, and I can't recall which, but it's got to be Florida. So give me Georgia by 10 here. I'm going to take them with the points there. I got nothing better than that.
All right, what about you, Jake?
Tough.
Yeah, I agree with Bear. Give me Georgia by 14 points this week.
I'm still kind of in awe of how they got their asses handed to them by LSU. So, granted, the game was, I believe, at LSU, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so I'm going to take Florida. I think they're going to win outright, but just give me the +7 anyway so they can lose by 6 and I'll still get a victory. So give me Florida as well. Next game, this kind of surprised me. I missed one. Kansas State at number 8, Oklahoma. Oklahoma -24.
Well, why does your thing say Kentucky? Is that supposed to be Kansas State?
I missed the line.
Okay. I was confused. That's why I paused again. You're confusing the shit out of me here. Oklahoma, you said they're at home, correct? Sorry.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, 24 points is a lot. Dan Snyder's team always contends, it seems like, but I don't think they do today. I think Kyler Murray puts it on them. So give me Oklahoma big.
Jake?
Yeah, I'm going to go Oklahoma as well big. I don't see Kansas State putting up that much of a fight this week.
All right, and I also have Oklahoma, I believe. Yes, I do. And so does Brandon, 48-17. Next game. This is the game that shocked me. Number 12, Kentucky at Missouri. Missouri is a 6.5-point favorite at home.
So this makes me worry because Vegas is right a lot. You saw that with Michigan being -9.5 over Wisconsin when you didn't think that was going to happen.
Well, I did. I said Michigan was going to win by 2 touchdowns.
Okay, well,
it was 7.
They won by like 4 touchdowns, didn't they?
And it was 7. That's why I was like, they win by 2 touchdowns at least. I didn't think that was close.
My point is that Vegas knows what they're doing.
Yes, they do.
They're right more than they're wrong. So I'm going to go with Kentucky here, though. Like I said, I don't know if there's injuries. I don't know exactly what is going on. Missouri at home is not intimidating. So without knowing if Kentucky has injuries or whatnot, I think they still win here in Missouri. I don't think Missouri's that good. So Kentucky outright.
Outright. Jake?
Yeah, I got Kentucky by 10 this week.
Brandon has – this is where he messed up. Missouri, I know what he means, though. It says Missouri -6.5, and he bolded them. I'm like, I think he thinks they're +6.5. He probably was confused. He's like, really? Because he has Kentucky wins 31-27. And I also have Kentucky winning as well.
I knew that, yeah. Brandon and I share a hate in Missouri, so that's about right. I know that he wouldn't pick Missouri. He's smarter than that. He's still a Notre Dame fan, but he's smarter than that. So what's next? West Virginia and? I don't know who they're playing.
Yeah, West Virginia is at home to Baylor, and it's 13.5.
That's it? Oh, West Virginia easily. West Virginia wins big. I know they've not played. They haven't played great recently, but back at home, Will Grier still a Heisman hopeful. They should beat up on Baylor here. What you got, Jake?
So let's see. I agree with Bear right here. West Virginia is just gonna rip the crap out of Baylor this week. They're gonna win big.
I also think. Did I have West Virginia? Yes, I did. I think they bounced back from having their asses handed to them at Iowa State. They lost, 30-13, and then they had a bye week. So they've had a week off to think about it, and they're going to come out just whooping ass. So Baylor's not that great, and so we'll see what happens. Brandon has this a lot closer than we do. By the way, he had the Kentucky game, 31-27 Kentucky. For this game, he's got West Virginia. It's 13.5. He has West Virginia by 17. So 34-17 for them. Next game, number 14, Washington State at Stanford. Stanford is a 3-point favorite at home. Bear.
Yeah, like you said, this is one of those that Vegas knows best. I mean, you wouldn't think Washington State being a 1-point favorite at home last week against Oregon, then they blew the shit out of them. Did not see that coming. So like I said, I don't think Stanford wins this game, but man, 3 points is that's tough.
You don't think Stanford wins?
I don't.
They're the 3-point favorite.
I know, but it's just like I said, it's got this stuck in my head with Vegas, knowing these things. I'm gonna take Washington State. I just have a feeling there's going to be a letdown, and I think that's what Vegas sees too. But, God, I'm going to be wrong on this. I know it.
All right. What do you got, Jake?
I got Stanford by 6. They're going to cover.
You think they are going to cover? Okay. And so we'll see if Stat Guy outdoes the podcast, because I have Washington State winning outright as well. They are 7-0 against the spread in their last 7 games. I just want to throw that out there.
Really?
Stanford's at home, though.
Yeah. But, Washington State's got 3 points. So even if it's a 2-point game and Stanford wins, or it's a 1-point game, Washington State gets
this is what I'm saying. This is always the game that Stanford ends up coming out and winning, just because that's how Stanford by 7. They'll win by a last minute touchdown.
And we're going to see is Washington State for real or not. The last 3 years when they go into Washington, we're going to learn, because the last 3 years they've got their asses handed to them against Washington, so we're going to see. Next game, number 18 Iowa. I'm looking forward to this game. Number 18 Iowa at 17 Penn State, 5.5. It opened at 9. And then by the time we looked at this, it was 5.5. Now it's up to 6.5, and I wanted to change it. I did change it, but then when I saw Brandon's score, I'm like, I got to leave it at what it is. And by the way, he had Washington State beating Stanford by 14, 24-10.
Okay.
So, Jake, I'll let you go first. What do you got? Iowa at Penn State, 5.5 dog for Iowa.
I'm gonna go Iowa. I'm gonna go Iowa wins by a touchdown at Penn State this week.
Okay.
I think Iowa, they play good under pressure. I think they're gonna come out and I think they're gonna get the W.
Yep.
Right.
I absolutely agree. Penn State has Michigan next week, if I'm not mistaken, so they're going to be looking ahead to that, even though they shouldn't be. They've played like crap the last 3 weeks, so I think Iowa beats them up a little bit. I'm surprised to see Brandon has Penn State winning. That's quite interesting. When you get matchups against Michigan State, it's going to be a top 5 matchup with Michigan State on a bye. It kind of surprises me, but I think Iowa wins this outright, and Iowa's been looking tough, very tough.
And this is only our second disagreement in this whole thing for all of us, because the first one was Clemson and Florida State. So Brandon has, like you said, Penn State winning by 6. He has it close. So that half point is what kind of swayed him. And I changed it to 6.5 until I saw Brandon's score, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that to him, so we're going to leave it at 5.5. And then I also have Iowa. I have Iowa winning outright. They are 8-1 against the spread in their last 9 games. So give me them in 5.5. Even if they lose, I don't think it's
even if
by
they lose, it's going to be by 3.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. So next game, Purdue at Michigan State. Michigan State is a 2-point favorite. So I'll just go into Brandon's real fast. Brandon has Purdue winning outright, 38-28, and my pick also is Purdue. They're 5-0 against the spread their last 5 games. Michigan State is 0-4 against the spread in their last 4 home games.
You can go ahead, Jake. I'm gonna rant on Ohio State.
I wanted to do that. All right.
You can do it.
You both can.
Go ahead.
Well, let's just do this Michigan State game. I'm gonna say Michigan State. I think they'll cover. I think they win by a point.
You think who wins by a point?
Michigan State's going to win by a point this week.
So Purdue covers.
Purdue covers. I'm going to go Michigan State wins. Yep,
okay.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, Michigan State's going to beat them. Purdue played the absolute game of their lives against Ohio State last week at home. There is no chance that they win this game, no chance that they cover this. Michigan State will beat them. But to go into this, I'll make it brief since Jake also wants to. Ohio State we knew is bad. I think I said it last week that the upset is there. Everyone was saying it. I said it was one of those that they're either going to get beat or they're going to blow them out, and they got beat and they got blown out. It reminded me of the Iowa game last year. The offense just the play calling was just absolute trash. I was very disappointed in that. Urban just looks like he doesn't care. Now there's stuff saying that there's certain people that don't want to be there, and all of this is going on right now. So I don't know exactly what's going on in Ohio State. They need to figure it out on this bye week. I'm getting sick and tired of hearing all this crap. The defense we know sucks. Get rid of Schiano. It's time for him to go. He has not schemed anything. Even James Laurinaitis, the old Buckeye linebacker, said it. that the schemes are bad. He goes, the talent's there. The talent will always beat Ohio State. He said the schemes they're playing are terrible. He said there's no reason why the guys need to be running up to catch these guys. They need to be playing with them in front of them because they're better athletes. And I totally agree. Other than that, wide receivers still dropping balls again. Haskins still threw for over like 330, I think. I mean, I know some of that was in garbage time, but the dude's still playing all right. But if you're not getting the play calls you were earlier in the year, what's going to happen? So I don't know if it's still Day playing the calls, if it's Urban in his ear overturning these calls. I don't know what's going on right now, but that was really bad. It was absolutely embarrassing. I knew it was going to be a tight game, but for God's sakes,
you did say,
State.
and I listened to this, that you said they're going to be on the biggest upset alert, and you were absolutely right.
Yeah, like you said, it was one of those games that it wasn't going to be close. It was either Penn State, I meant Purdue would beat them close, is what I meant on that. They would beat them, or Ohio State was going to blow them out. It was either or, and they got blown out by Purdue.
It was Iowa all over again.
And then at the end of the game, you saw they gave up. It was the exact same thing. It was extremely disappointing. But you know what? When they're college kids and the defense is getting beat up like that and you're just getting ran all over, I mean, it's easy to give up, and that's exactly what they did. It was very, very disappointing to watch.
What'd you say about Dwayne? He threw for how many?
I think he threw for 330 again.
You're a little off.
What was it?
470.
Yeah. In that game, he threw for 470?
Yeah.
Jesus.
When you're playing from behind, as you know, he was throwing. So
he was probably at 330 when I stopped caring and started drinking more.
You know how many? Just take a guess. I want you guys to see who's closer. How many passes did he throw that game?
He threw 54 passes.
Bear?
48.
73.
Holy
He had 49 completions.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is that if you do that to start the game and you just are aggressive instead of go into these places, I think this is the only place away that they've had a losing record at.
They're against the Big Ten in the last
Big Ten,
10
right?
years. Yeah. Three. No,
at
I guess
Ross
they're
Aid
3
Stadium.
and 4, 3 and 5 now.
Yes,
or in the last 20 years, I should say.
And it was a nice, and this is the other thing, and I'm gonna get so much shit for this. I already know it. I love the story, and do not mistake my words on this. The Tyler Strong, all of that is a great story. I'm happy to see that. I really am. But ESPN jammed that down everybody's throats all day. They had Rinaldi go in there mid-game and stopped watching the game and interviewed the kid for like 5 minutes. Even he wanted to watch the game. That ESPN was, like I said, it's a great story. It's very sad what's going on with that kid. But come on, we're watching football. You did it on game day.
But remember,
do it at halftime.
Was this ABC or ESPN?
ABC and ESPN are the same thing.
Well, that tells you everything. Disney company. So that's what they're going to do.
Let's talk about Disney. We know about Disney. They're dirty.
They own it.
Dirty
racists
is what they are.
And they own this, so that's what they do. They got to portray everything. Look at all their movies. Right. They portray everything. Oh, somebody's killed or sad
like I said,
disadvantaged, and now we tell the story. It was a Disney movie.
You did it on game day.
It was a Disney movie.
I know, and you did it on game day, and it was a great story. And you know what? If you want to do it at halftime, that's fine. Don't do it at the beginning of the second quarter. Like, I'm trying to watch football. I know the story. I've seen it. I've seen it all week. I've read it. It's a great story. I donate to a lot of fucking cancer charities all the time, okay? I know it. It's in the family. I get it. But I'm trying to watch football, okay? It's football time.
I'm with you. And
ESPN and ABC and whoever, very disappointing.
And, we're very charitable here. And like we said, we're going to – I already paid for the table for us. We're going to go to the charity event for Leading Families Home, Winter Wonderland. Mm-hmm. We're looking forward to it. The 8 of us are going to be there, so it'll be Bear, Jake, me, Brandon, and girlfriend, wife, hot friend. We'll all be there as well. We talked about an idea. I don't know. You got it through text. Jake, you didn't see it. I'm going to have to add you to our text conversation so you can see the stuff we talk about. But so I said that we need to get a giant gummy bear. That's going to be our centerpiece because we talk about gummy bears. And then we're going to get hooks for little gummy bears and hang them on our gummy bear. And instead of getting like a Christmas tree stand, I want Jake, because I know you can do it, build us a little tree stand so we can put him in like a deer tree stand on the table with our podcast.
That can be done in 20 minutes.
If we have all those, how long do you think it takes before Brandon eats all the gummy bears? And including the big one.
I don't know. And
I'll get over under 12 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. So quickly with college football, and then I'm going to thank some of our sponsors before we get into NFL. Did you guys see that Corso about died when he had popcorn thrown down his throat on college game day?
Corso's 100 years old, so he has a chance to die at any moment when he's out there.
Yes, this is absolutely true.
But yes, I did, and they all did it for the Washington State guy, and all of that fun stuff. But yes, that was very interesting to see.
Yes, I totally agree.
I'm kind of disappointed. I prefer when he curses instead of eats popcorn on college game day.
I agree. And so, as always, we want to thank Wes Anderson for Moments in Time. Give him a follow on Twitter at Songs by Wes and Wes Anderson Music on Facebook. Thanks to All Wear Clothing, the official merchandise provider of Over the Line Sports Podcast. Thank you to Crandall's Quality Lawn Care, the official mowing service of the Over the Line Sports Podcast. Thank you to
Not for me.
Yeah, right. And thank you to Verizon, True Technology Business Partner, and of course PNC, and they can help you with all of your personal needs. And you know what? I'm going to give a thank you, because I don't anymore, to ex-wife. Thank you for letting us use your garage. I happen to know and see that you wrote us a note on the board, which I think Bear's going to put us on Twitter there. She found out we're here. She must be listening. And it says, if you want to continue using my garage, rent is due on the 1st. So I guess we must scramble up some money. And I don't know how much she wants. Maybe, hey, ex-wife, if you listen to this, if you'll just tell me how much money you want, we'll get you some money. I don't know what else you want.
$0.00.
Yeah, I'll give you.
That's a good amount.
We'll give you gummy bear wrappers. We throw them in your trash anyway.
Yeah, that's probably why she knows.
Yeah, exactly. What do you got to say, Jake?
Hey, tell ex-wife that Stat Guy says that she'll get a case of Miller Lite for rent.
I like it. Even though I don't think she drinks, but we'll give her some of that. And thank you. And I'm kind of happy she doesn't drink, because we leave our liquor stashed here for when we do our shots pre-show. By the way, salted caramel crown. Bear introduced it to us. Very awesome.
Very awesome.
Yep, you're welcome. Absolutely delicious. Absolutely, that's actually thanks to Nate. He's the one that got it for me.
And thank you, Nate. And again, thank you to all our sponsors. All right, so right into NFL. The picks last week, Brandon actually beat us. He was 11-3.
Did
he? Yeah, he was 11-3, and you and I were both 9-5.
Time to quit.
Yeah, I know, right? And where are we sitting at now with the Pigskin Pick'em?
We are tied. Tied for first with Mr. Perfect. He's had 2 weeks where he has beat us by 4, so he's back up. Tied with us in the lead right now. We're both tied at 68. V. Elise is in third right now.
Who the hell is that?
We ask every week, and no one's came out and told us. I don't know.
Please tell us who you are.
Yes,
we want to know. We need to see who you are. Give us a...
He/she is at 67, or it could be an animal playing on ESPN. I don't know, so I
if you
can't
do
even say
listen,
that.
please give us a follow on Twitter at OTL Sports Pod. Tell us who you are, because I think we're going to end up throwing you some swag anyway, just because we're trying to figure out who the hell you are.
Yeah, really. I need to know this. I don't like these. West Texas Rednecks is at 66 with Gary's side team, Wellington Winners. It's like your side piece.
Is it 66?
66.
Yeah, because
yes.
I told you I forgot to play that Browns-Jets game on there. I forgot it. That's because I know I'm at 67 with you.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that helps me keep us in line with what we're sitting at, because we realized we were 10 games off.
I would
Now we're up to date.
also be remiss if I didn't say this, that Hot Friend beat us by 2, and she certainly rubbed it in yesterday. So
Shut up. Are you serious?
Yeah, she put up 11 last week.
Wow.
And made fun of me because her, as the Browns fan, I picked the Browns to win. She didn't. Then got mad that they lost, and then was happy though that she picked Tampa, and then made fun of me for picking the Browns. Follow that as you will. Regardless,
By the way, they got screwed too.
Yes, they did. There was a lot of bad calls in that game. But she's only 10 back, so not doing too shabby either.
How'd Jake do?
And once again, I do not even think about making her picks. As you can tell, maybe I should start getting advice from her, because I'm not doing so hot. Let's see, Jake. Put up a, what is that? Is that an 8? Oh no, that's a 0. That's a 0. That's 2 zeros in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Did you oversleep for a week?
I think that actually did happen last night. I think 2 weeks ago it was a couple, one too many Miller Lights, but last week I think I just slept in too late.
Yep. And then what ex-wife do?
0.
Really?
She did 0. Yes.
She forgot to play. Good.
Yes, she did.
Oh, good.
A lot of zeros there.
She deserves it.
Wait. 7. I was looking at the wrong week.
Oh, still.
Sorry, Jake did 6. I was looking at the wrong week.
Yeah.
That was my bad.
I did 6.
He did 0 the week before.
You
That's
got
what it
6?
was.
I got 6.
6.
You suck.
I do suck. Holy crap.
That was my bad. You did 0 the week before. I was looking at the wrong week here.
All right, so this week we've got Week 8 picks. The buys are Atlanta, Dallas, Tennessee, and the L.A. Chargers.
I have Ohio State and Dallas on a bye this week. What am I supposed to do? I don't even know how that works.
I don't know what you're supposed to do either.
I mean, seriously, how am I supposed to watch football this week?
You know what? We're just going to have to hope. We're going to have to watch our picks.
Oh, no, that's right. I'll just be stress-free and not have to worry about refs screwing over the Cowboys. But, yeah, that'll be fun.
I agree. So, quickly, well, I don't want to say quickly. Let's just get into some of these things here. So, Thursday night, we got Dolphins at Texans. Jake, I'll let you lead this off since we don't count your picks into our OTL Sports Pod. But remember to put them into the Pigskin Pick'em, please.
Yeah, I got him on my document this week, so I'll make sure to get them in. Thursday night, I'm going to go with the Dolphins over the Texans Thursday night.
Really? Wow.
Yes, I'm going to go with the Dolphins.
Houston's been on a big roll here, just beat up Jacksonville. Definitely taking the Texans here. I think that they're still going to stay on a roll, and Miami is beat up. They are not the same team they were. Albert Wilson's going to be out the rest of the year. He's been their electric playmaker. So definitely give me the Texans here. I don't think it's going to be big, but this is going to be the best the Texans look. And I think that defense has a chance to hold them 10 points and less this week.
I also have the Texans, and as does Brandon. So we can move on to the next game. That's
going to be one of those agreement weeks, isn't it?
It looks like that. Next game, Eagles at Jaguars on Sunday morning in London.
Jake, go ahead.
Oh, see, I went back and forth. I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I'm gonna go with the Eagles Sunday morning in London this week.
Both teams looking really, really bad lately. I want to pick the Eagles to jinx them and hope Jacksonville wins here. But you know who the Eagles have in 2 weeks coming up?
Dallas?
The Cowboys. And I think they're starting to maybe get a little bit nervous and look ahead to that. I don't know who they have next week, but two East Coast teams on a London game. Nothing exciting, really. No one has to travel from the West Coast. I love waking up at 9:30 to watch these games. So I am going to hope that my reverse jinx works. Pick the Eagles. Go Jaguars.
And Brandon also has the Eagles, and I do as well. So another outright Eagles for us.
Okay.
Next, Jets at Bears.
I'm going to go with the Bears this week at home. Jets are way too inconsistent this year.
Oh, yeah. Darnold going away has been just treacherous besides the first week at Detroit, and he gets to hang out with Khalil Mack this week. Yeesh. Yeah, Darnold, probably 2 pick sixes this week. Bears big.
Bears as well, big. So Bears is a podcast. And next game, Bucks, not the Buckeyes, the Buccaneers at the Bengals. Jake, I know you're a Bengals fan.
Pick the Bengals every week this year. I'm going to stick with it this week. Go with the Bengals. Hoo-day, baby.
You have to. Tampa isn't good. Their defense isn't good. They should have lost to the Browns last weekend and got lucky. A couple headshots on Baker that weren't called. The NFL refs are really, really bad in dropping the ball this year. I think also after the Bengals got embarrassed last week in Kansas City that they're going to step it up here, and Dalton should have a good game.
And Brandon also has the Bengals, and I do as well. So Bengals again for a podcast. So the only difference here is that that game with Jake who'd you take? Dolphins over the Texans.
Yep.
All right. So next game is Sea Chickens at Lions. Jake?
So I'm going to go with the Lions at home this week. Stafford's gonna have a good game.
Yeah, this actually has potential to be a really good game. Seahawks coming off of a bye, Lions coming off of a nice win in Miami. I like to think that the Seahawks could win this game, but they won't. I don't know how healthy they got over the bye. I'd imagine a little bit. Depends how Dunk Baldwin is. Prater game-winning field goal. Lions by 3.
Brandon also has the Lions, as do I. So again, as a podcast, we're taking the Lions. Broncos at Chiefs.
After the whooping the Chiefs put on the Bengals last week, and they're going to keep rolling. Chiefs win big.
Yeah, they played, the Broncos played them tough in Denver, but they're not in Denver this time. Chad Kelly just got arrested for beating off in some girl's house or something like that. I don't know what he was doing. A little bit of distraction there. Chiefs are going to just roll over
And he
Denver.
got released? Yeah, he
got released today. Yeah. Did you see his mugshot?
Yeah.
They showed him with like Mr. Potato Head and the Cristiano Ronaldo crap statue that they made. His eyes are all wonky and stuff. Oh man.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic. Brandon also has the Chiefs, as do I. So again, podcast Chiefs. Now we get into something that is going to probably break our streak here. Redskins at Giants. I'll throw it out there right now. Brandon took the Giants. Jake, who do you got?
I'm going to disagree with that. I'm going to go with the Redskins coming into Giant Stadium. I think they're going to win. Eli is just way too inconsistent. They got Saquon, but Redskins win by 10.
This is going to be the only time I'm going to be able to get my Cowboys ran in, so I'm going to do it now. They should not have lost against the Redskins last week for 2 reasons. One, a lot of bad calls. Go back and look. I think Dallas had about 6 more penalties than Washington did. A lot of interesting hold calls. And then, of course, the snap infraction from a 14-year veteran who's never had a snap infraction his entire life, who does the same exact thing. And the only reason why is because, once again, the refs, I think, had a little money on Washington there. I think they were, -2 in that game or something like that? And they ended up winning by 3. It's quite interesting. I'm normally not one for conspiracy theories. That was bad. He did the same exact thing the next snap, like he has done for the last 14 years. I don't know if you know who Pat McAfee is, right?
Of course.
Yeah, he did a big thing on it, saying how bullshit it was and how the NFL needs to apologize right now. I mean, he was a punter. He knows all of this. So quite ridiculous. Absolutely disappointing. I was so mad to see that. Regardless, I was very happy with Brett Maher, saying, you know what, doesn't matter what happens, I should have made the kick. I thought that was very classy of him. It wasn't his best time to miss his first kick since the first one, but so be it.
Like,
regardless, if it's from 47, he makes that.
That's
that
what
doesn't hit the upright.
Jim Nantz said, and then Romo said, "You're a genius," because he's right. If it was the same exact kick from 47, it was in.
You kind of saw he kind of pulled it a little bit. You saw it, but he did it on purpose. He knew what he was doing, and if it was from 47, it was good. Regardless, it should have been from 42 because they jumped off sides on that. I'm so disappointed that's the case. With all that being said, I really want the Giants to win this game. They are one game away from firing Pat Shurmur, though, and unfortunately, this is going to be the game. They're a crappy, mediocre, crap Redskins. They're going to go to 5-2 and still going to finish the year at 8-8 after they lose to Dallas later in the year again. Give me the Redskins.
And so for me, it comes down to me on this one on who we're going to take. So it's going to be an interesting game to see what happens. So I'm going to take a giant win by the Redskins. So give us the Redskins as a podcast. Sorry, Brandon. That's not going to happen. Next, Browns at Steelers. Brandon has the Steelers.
I feel like I'm going to be the only one doing this week, but I'm going to go with the Browns at Pittsburgh. The Browns have been pretty up and down, but their defense is still playing pretty good. I think Baker has a pretty good week against the Steelers defense. I think the Browns win.
I don't think the Browns win. I don't think that they tie. I think that Pittsburgh is going to beat them up here. The Browns have been really, really bad in Pittsburgh over the years. I don't think it's going to change now. I think it will eventually. I don't think right now. Gary, you go ahead, and I want to ask you a quick question, too.
The Steelers. And so we as a podcast are taking the Steelers.
So Le'Veon has to come back week 10.
Right.
Okay,
Or
it's week 8?
8, yep.
You think he comes back week 10? And if you do, what do you think happens with that?
If he has to become the free agent and be credited the year. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, he's screwed. So he will come back. What do I think?
Pittsburgh? Do you think he gets traded before then? The trade deadline is next Monday.
Next Monday. There are teams out there that could use him. I just don't think that they're going to give that up for him. Like, the one that always comes to mind, because this is how the world works, is the Patriots. But I don't see them giving up some crazy first-round picks for him when he could just leave at the end of the year if he wanted to, if he got traded there.
Yeah, but they won't pay him. I think if you're Pittsburgh, you have to get whatever you can get for him right now.
I agree.
Whether it's a player, whether he goes to, which is stupid because they have David Johnson, but whether they trade him for Patrick Peterson at Arizona, there's so many places that he could go and do this where he could be useful. The Jets, Bilal Powell just went out with a neck injury. They said potentially career-ending. So really all they have is Isaiah Crowell. I mean, the Jets have capital. They have money, a place where he could go. He's got to come back. But I think that if he comes back to the Steelers, finishes out the year there, and gets signed, I think the Steelers they screwed themselves. You could get, even if you can get anything for this guy. First-round pick, third-round pick, sixth-round pick, all, you don't have to get 2 firsts, any of that. But I think that Khalil Mack kind of screwed that over. It'll be interesting to see what happens. But I think if the Steelers don't trade him, that's just they've lost. They're done. Absolutely done. I think all of them, it's over after that with them. Yeah,
and see, I didn't pay much attention to fantasy stuff this past week. I had Kareem who went off, but I knew I was going to lose regardless. So you just informed me that Powell is done, so I need to get rid of him. Is what I'm hearing.
No, yeah, he has a serious neck injury. So yeah, they said it might be career ending. It was front page news today, which was kind of surprising. It was a little bit it's always tough to see those, like you're seeing the Ryan Shazier, but it's nice to see him walking again and getting back. But when you get injuries like those, it's a little bit disappointing. So go ahead and drop him off your team because he ain't going to do you any good.
Well, and the good thing is Zeke's on a bye, so Cohen gets to start for me this week. So
Cohen should be starting for you regardless.
I know.
Someone dropped him in my other league, and I picked him up on, it was like a Friday night. It was like at 10 o'clock. I don't know someone dropped him on like a Thursday. He went all through Friday, and I saw him on Friday night. I was looking, I was like, what the hell? Like, of course I'm taking Cohen. I'll drop anybody for Cohen. I think I ended up dropping Peyton Barber or something who's trash. And I've played him and that was on the bye because he was on a bye.
Right.
So I picked him up in the last 2 weeks. He's done because I'm in a 1-point PPR there. So he's done like 29 and like 20.2 or something. I was like, this is great. Thanks for that.
Yep. And it's been tough because, I got Zeke, got Kareem. He won't go in over them. Zeke had a bad week with 4. And then, have Phillip Lindsay, who's been a point getter, because out of the backfield he gets catches like you're saying. So between him and Cohen, it's tough, but Cohen's probably going to be in there from here on out.
You're going to have two little backs this week, and Lindsey should get enough junk time against the Chiefs to put up a decent day, I would bet. Actually, he might be good in DraftKings this week. I might use him.
Yeah,
he should
he
be
might
cheap.
be. Exactly. So, so we said Steelers. So Steelers is a podcast. No, it threw me off. Jake, what do you think, man? What do you think happens with Le'Veon? Anything?
See, I made the big mistake during fantasy picks this year. I picked him in like 2 of my leagues thinking he'd only be out for maybe 4 or 5 weeks, but he's been out this whole time. I think Pittsburgh should get rid of him. They're not going to pay him the money he deserves, and like Bear said, the Jets or someone, they're going to have the money to pay Le'Veon, or there's plenty of other markets where Le'Veon could go and those teams can pay him and he can thrive on any of those teams as long as he has a half-decent quarterback who can throw the ball and a half-decent line who can, make holes for him. He's gonna have a great year, anywhere he goes.
So if you had to pick a team that he gets traded to, who do you think? Who do you guys think?
I mean, I think the Jets. It's just they have the most cap space. They have a poor running back situation. You have a rookie quarterback. Le'Veon's still, 28, I think? 27? I mean, he's still young. I think that the Jets would be the best place for him. They have a promising defense. If Darnold shows vast improvement, not even vast, he shows a little improvement over the next couple of years, I mean, the Jets will take that division over. The Patriots are, I'm telling you, I think I said in the beginning of the year as my hot take that they're about done. It's not looking good right now, but it's close. It is. So I'd say the Jets are the best fit for him, and I think that's where he's going to go.
I would say the Jets as well, just because how the world works. I think New England could be in there in the conversation. I don't know if they'll pull the trigger. They lost. Who did they just lose? They lost Sony Michel, right?
Yeah, but they said it wasn't as major. It looked really bad. I was watching that. I saw that actually live at the bar. It looked really bad. Like he tore his ACL and blew his knee completely out. He was bent over backwards and then hit again. One of those you see like offensive linemen usually. But they said it. I think they said it's a meniscus sprain, MCL sprain. So they said 2 to 3 weeks probably. But the Patriots, they keep winning. They can hold him out and get him healthy for the playoffs because kid's a stud and he's going to keep being a stud there with James White. That's a pretty good backfield.
So the next game, Ravens at Panthers. Brandon took the Panthers at home. Jake?
I'm going to go with Brandon right there. I got the Panthers as well.
I'm also going to agree with Brandon. The Panthers with an awesome come-from-behind win over Philly. Absolutely love that. Anytime the Eagles lose is great. Panthers, I think, Baltimore just doesn't play that well on the road. They also lost in demeaning fashion. Justin Tucker never has missed an extra point in his entire career. And I was so happy because I had the Saints plus 2.5, and he missed that, and that was the best thing ever. I told I'm in a bet league. I think I told you about that, right? I've hit 4 or more team parlay 3 weeks in a row now off of that. And that was a 6. That was to hold my 6. And then I had another 4-team parlay in the afternoon where it was a 3-team. I had Saints plus 2.5, Rams minus 9, and then I had Dallas plus 1 and Washington minus 1. Played them both and ended up hitting for that. So I love that. Thanks, Justin Tucker. Appreciate it.
And I'm gonna thank you. Appreciate it.
Where's Brandon at?
We
should have that clip and then just play it when he's not here.
Cheesy poofs.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So I'm going to disagree with all three of you. I'm going to take the Ravens here. They have the best defense in the league statistically. They are going to Carolina, who had just had a great win against the Eagles. I still think, even though the Ravens do kind of struggle on the road, the Steelers are coming, and we have the Steelers beating the Browns. And not like that. Ben might be. But
only in an Atlanta bathroom.
Right. But give me the Ravens because I just don't think they're going to let the Bengals or the Steelers get closer to them. So we'll see. And what do you got to say, Jake? Go ahead.
I'll say I thought the Bengals were in first place.
Are they still? Oh,
yeah.
The Ravens lost. Yeah. The Ravens are going to keep. Well, then the Ravens are going to keep it close. So let's go from there. We got the Bengals. Steelers are going to win too. So I'm going to take the Ravens this week. Colts at. So as a podcast, we're taking the Panthers though. So Colts at Raiders.
Me, neither team has played at all well this year. At Raiders, let's go. Let's see. Let's go with Andrew Luck having a good game this week and T.Y. Hilton. Let's go with the Colts at the Raiders.
Yep, this game will be probably the highest scoring game, I think, of the weekend, and I know that's probably not popular with Minnesota and the Saints coming down the line here and staring us right in the face. But two not great defenses. The Raiders obviously just getting dismantled. The Colts looked really good against, granted it was Buffalo, but they only gave up 5 points to Buffalo in Indianapolis last week. They have to travel to Oakland, so it'll be a little bit closer. But I think the Colts are going to end up winning like 38-31 or something like that.
I have the Colts as well, so as a podcast, we'll take the Colts. I can see that being a high-scoring game. I think the Bengals and Buccaneers and the Chiefs-Broncos are going to go over that in terms of points on the overs.
That Bengals defense has been really, really good. And I know they weren't against Kansas City. Kansas City is the best or second best offense in football. I know that the Rams are there, but the Bengals defense has been looking really good. So I just, I unless they put up 42 by themselves, I just can't see. I don't think they'll go over 50 in that game.
Well, the problem with the Bengals defense when they're playing Kansas City spreads the ball out so well, and they're so fast that the Bengals don't have that speed on defense to keep up with them like that.
And Vontaze Burfict didn't get to punch anyone in the face or grab their groin or kick them in the head or whatever he does normally. So
Exactly.
I think he got hurt again.
He did get hurt, yep.
Did he? Yeah,
Yep.
I thought so. Yeah, typical Vontaze. That's karma for all the other dumb shit he does. So.
Right. Next game, Packers at Rams. Brandon has the Rams. Jake, what do you got?
The Rams are 9-point favorite. I'm gonna say the Packers go into LA and the Rams are first loss. I'm gonna go with the Packers. I'm gonna say Aaron Rodgers comes in and beats the Rams.
I like it. That's bold.
I'm gonna go with that.
I think that it'll be a little bit closer, but the Packers defense is really bad. I think we all saw that on Monday night when they played the 49ers and squeaked out a win. Luckily, gave up 30 to the 49ers. They just had a bye to rest up, get a little bit healthy. Unfortunately, the Rams have a really good offense that defense just isn't going to stop. Gurley is going to have probably a monster day. I think that the Rams end up winning by 10 probably.
So the spread is, you said 9.
Yes,
We
9.
don't bet the spread. I think they beat them by more than 9. So give us the Rams podcast.
And hopefully Rodgers, that knee is healed because with Aaron Donald and Ndamukong Suh coming, buddy.
Good luck, man.
Yeah, it's going to be
Don't
rough
get me
for
wrong,
him.
that has the potential to be really bad for Aaron Rodgers with that Rams defense, that D line. But I'm gonna go with that bold pick with the Packers.
You're taking Packers straight up.
If Mike
That's a bold pick.
McCarthy ever gets his head out of his ass, they would be good, but he's wasting Aaron Rodgers' prime, and that's a fact. But normally when they have a extra week to plan for a team, I think that they're going to be good. The problem is that the Rams played the 49ers last week and didn't show much, I would imagine. So there'll be a lot of different schemes, I think, coming. McVay is the best coach in the NFL, smartest coach in the NFL.
All right. And so Rams here, Rams podcast. Like we said, next game, 49ers at Cardinals. Brandon has the 49ers on the road. Jake?
I'm going to go with the 49ers as well. I mean, they're both, horrible teams. Josh Rosen hasn't done really anything for the Cardinals so far this year. Garoppolo's hurt. I'm still going to go with the 49ers on the road.
I like the home team here. Cardinals already beat them once on the road, so I think that the Cardinals win at home just because it's going to be a crappy game. So, taking the Niners.
I am taking the Niners.
Damn it.
Sorry, I'm taking the Niners.
We're trying to go undefeated as a podcast this week. That's going to be it.
I know.
That's why you go with Stat Guy's picks.
Stat Guy's picks would have had us with the Packers, the Dolphins.
Half of them wouldn't even been in. So
Did you take the Browns too?
I did take the
Yeah,
Browns.
you wouldn't even have made it, even if it mattered.
Hey, I guess we'll see come Sunday.
Yeah, you might outdo us. We'll see when we're looking at Pigskin Pick'em. Remember to get those picks in, ESPN.com. Over the line. Sports Pod, right?
I think it's podcast.
Is it? I thought it was just
No, Over the Line Sports.
Over the Line Sports is the name of our group. Got it. All right. Yes, Niners for us on the road. Niners is a podcast. Big game here. Saints at Vikings Sunday night. I think game of the week.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is going to be a fun game. The Saints go back to the scene of the crime in the playoffs where Diggs caught a just miracle ball and beat him to not send him to the NFC Championship. I think the Saints come back and get their revenge. They've been playing really good football. They are my Super Bowl pick, so I'm going to stick with the Saints to beat the Vikings and get that revenge from last year's playoffs.
Jake?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Saints, too. The way Drew Brees just hit, 50,000 career passing yards?
And 500 touchdowns.
And 500 touchdowns. And then you got Michael Thomas, who's catching everything thrown to him.
Was it 50,000? It wasn't 50,000 passing yards. It was like
It was like
60.
50. No, it was like 53. Yeah.
But he's got the record.
Yeah, he broke
50,000
Manning's
plus.
record. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, either way, I think Saints come out with the win. The way Michael Thomas is running routes, catching everything that's thrown to him, and then you got Alvin Kamara catching the ball or coming out of the backfield. Yeah, Saints are going to win this week. I think the Vikings are a 1-point favorite, but I think the Saints come in there and I think they get their revenge.
So, yes, I already have my pick. Bear, who do I have in the Super Bowl?
You have New England beating Minnesota.
So, because of that, I'm going to take Bear's Super Bowl pick in the Saints, and we as a podcast are going to take the Saints. I agree with you guys, not Brandon. He's not here. The Saints are going to go in there. Drew Brees has just been hot, not in the MVP best player of all time, best quarterback of all time. Side note of Tom Brady. He should be in that conversation. The guy is incredible, amazing human being. He's going to go into Minnesota on that fluke play that beat him last year and knocked him out of the opportunity to go to the NFC Championship. Drew Brees all the way, New Orleans. They're coming on hot. Lost their first game. That's it. They're going to win again. Keep that hot streak going. They're going into Minnesota, and they're going to take that game. So, sorry, Brandon. You are wrong. And
do we even have to talk about the Monday night game? It's going to be. I might not even watch the Monday night game. It's going to be such a shit show.
Well, we do, but hold on. I just wanted to throw out a stat here for you, Jake. Drew Brees, I knew 50,000 was wrong. I was like, that sounds way wrong. He's at 72,000 passing yards.
Sorry about
I'm
that.
like, there's something doesn't seem right here. 501 touchdowns. The career leader is Peyton Manning, 539. And then Brett Favre's at 508. Tom Brady's at 504. He's going to get up there this year. So is Drew Brees. Who do you think, when it's all said and done, has more? Do you think who's going to be the top when Brees, Manning, and Brady are all retired? Who's going to be at the top of passing touchdowns?
Manning is retired.
No, I know, but when they're all done,
Brees. Brees has a couple more years than Brady.
I agree.
He's 2 years younger. Brady, I know he wants to play till he's 45 or whatever, but I just don't see that happening. So I think Brees will. And he's only, 3 behind him right now, and they're both still playing, right?
3.
He'll probably catch him by the end of this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I also agree with both of them. I think Brees is going to get there before Brady. I think he's going to have the all-time records.
So last game Monday night, Patriots at Bills. Bad weather probably coming in. It doesn't matter because they play in New England or Buffalo.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. There's bad weather either way. Brandon, Patriots. Jake, you can make this easy. Who you got?
I mean, let's just if the Bills, let's put it this: the Bills win Monday night, I will give each of you $100. If the Bills
Let's
win,
go Bills!
If the Bills win Monday night
Looks like I'm
and
gonna
they
go
beat
to
the Patriots,
go to
I will
Buffalo,
give each of
throw
you
banana
$100.
peels. You know when they go to Buffalo, they throw dildos and stuff, right?
I mean,
They might get in Tom Brady's eye, or he might take it into the locker room and not come back out.
Well, you already owe him 80, and you're going to owe me 28. So you're going to owe him 180. You're going to owe me 128.
It's not gonna happen.
You're going to owe
It's not
Brandon,
gonna
who's not
happen.
even here, 100. He's probably like,
hey,
let's go Bills.
Brandon's not here. He doesn't count.
Oh,
It's
okay.
between
Sorry,
you two.
Brandon.
So, yeah.
Should have been here. That's what you
If
get.
the Patriots don't win at Buffalo Monday night, you guys will each get $100.
I feel like I should just put $100 on, no, that wouldn't work. I was going to say on the Bills' money line, but that would be stupid. Never mind. That was
That
dumb.
would be because you lose all the way around.
I'd just lose $100. But if they won, that money line's got to be ridiculous right now.
No,
Probably
but watch because
you
I say that Buffalo's going to come out and win. And
No,
I'm
no,
going to owe
that's
all
what you
you
should
guys
do.
money.
You should take the Patriots $100 to win straight up because you can double your money. It's 1-to-1, double your money, and then if they lose, you still get $100. It's a wash.
Well, it won't be straight up.
You probably get like $50 for $100.
The Patriots, it's going to be like, they'll probably be like, I don't even know. I'd have to look it up. Probably like minus 5,000 or something. So yeah, I might get 5% of what I get back. So I'd win $5.
Well, I know we're taking the Patriots as a podcast. We're all taking the Patriots, but I am like going to root for the Bills this week. So let's go.
I have to now.
Let's go Bills Mafia. As a podcast, so I won't be salty.
I'll do a lot of things for $100.
I want the Patriots to. Well, hold on a second.
Why are you opening your Diet Pepsi?
I know. I just wanted you to have a swig for $100.
Oh, okay. That's it?
Yeah.
All right.
So, yeah.
Why does it look like one of those little 7-ounce bottles?
It is. Oh, man. So, thank you for that. Let's
appreciate it.
Appreciate it. DraftKings picks. Quarterback, Jake, who you got?
I got Mahomes.
Yep, smart. I mean, I'd play Mahomes every week if I could. This week, they'll give me Kirk Cousins. I know that I picked the Saints to win, but that doesn't mean that there's going to be a lot of throwing in that game. So give me Kirky.
We have 4 different quarterbacks here. Andrew Luck for Brandon of the Colts. He's got Andrew Luck, who is going into Oakland. I think it's a good pick. You thought it was a high-scoring game, so it's a pretty good pick by him. I actually have Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton going against Buccaneers. Terrible defense.
What did I just say? I just said he's going to come back home and have a good game.
Yeah,
so
you did.
Smart.
Right.
Very smart.
Running back, Bear. Bear. Screw it.
Kareem Hunt. Denver has been
you're right.
really, really bad against the run. And he's back at home. He just had a monster game at home against Cincinnati. I think he's going to have another one at home against Denver. So Kareem Hunt's going to be my running back this week.
Jake?
I got Todd Gurley. He's consistent every week. It's not a bad pick any week to pick him. So I'm going to go with Gurley this week.
Brandon also has Gurley at home against the Packers. Me, I am taking James Conner. The last time he played the Browns, which was week 1 in Cleveland, it was 135 yards rushing, 5 catches, 57 yards, 2 TDs. So I think he does it again.
By the way, Gary, I don't know if you saw Gurley on DraftKings is $11,000 this week.
Wow.
I've never seen a player that high. I don't recall seeing a player that high in a long, long time.
11,000.
And that's regular. That's not the captain shit.
Yeah,
no, that's regular. 11 grails. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, so as a captain, he's 16 and a half. It's
Wait,
ridiculous.
Maybe that was FanDuel. Whatever. It was one of them is 11 grand.
Well,
it might be FanDuel.
We can check that out. And while we're looking into it, Jake, why don't you give us your wide receiver for the week?
You picked Dalton for the quarterback. I'm gonna go with AJ Green for the wide receiver. I think I think he has a big week against that Buccaneers secondary.
Oh yeah, that'll be a good stack.
That was FanDuel for you, by the way. Gurley's 98.
98. Yeah, it's still a lot. That's still a lot on DraftKings.
Le'Veon's 81, and he's out. He's on here at 8,100.
That people will probably play that too. These guys that have all the money will probably play it. Well, no, they'll have 150 lineups. That'll be one of 150, so it won't really matter.
Right.
My wide receiver, I'm pairing with Kirk Cousins. We've talked about him earlier. He is the best wide receiver in the NFL. He has 7 straight 100-yard games, and it will be 8 after this week. Adam Thielen. He is going to have probably, let me give you a stat line here. I'm going to go 11 catches, 126 yards, and 1 touchdown this week.
Okay. I think he gets like 14 catches and probably 150 and a touchdown. The wide receiver for Brandon, Antonio Brown, against the Browns, solid pick, and he tears them up all the time. And then me, Jake, you and I have the same. I paired up A.J. Green with Andy Dalton.
Actually, now that I think about it, because we do a FanDuel thing with some people, we're just 3 guys at work, and we do it. Whoever wins gets to pick lunch. Whoever finishes dead last has to buy lunch. I have Brown and Thielen this week. Both I'm playing. With Cousins, I think, is my quarterback, so that's kind of where I'm getting this from. But, if you can get both of them in a decent lineup this week, there's a lot of low-end running backs that you can play. If you can get that on DraftKings or FanDuel with one of those quarterbacks, whether it's Roethlisberger or whether it's Cousins, I think you're in for a pretty good day.
So I wanted to tell you this. In my work league, it's a 12-person league or 10 per, I can't even remember. Ex-wife is in it. She's 5-2. I may or may not have helped her dad draft that team. And this week for her, I helped her out. She asked me where at work. She's like, hey, I have people on bye week. Who should I pick up? So I pick her up Mitch Trubisky, 30 points. Pick her up Marlon Mack, 30 points. Yep. She destroyed them who she was playing. My team, I just want you to hear this. So I told you how deep it is. Tom Brady, Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Julian Edelman, Josh Gordon, Adam Thielen, Njoku, Olsen, Kerryon Johnson, kicker doesn't matter, Vikings defense, and Philip Lindsay is on my bench, as well as Leonard Fournette. So
Yeah, who's been hurt for the last 4 weeks.
I just picked him up because I was like, you know what, I'm deep at running back with Kamara and Christian McCaffrey and Kerryon Johnson and Philip Lindsay. So I'm like, you know what, I need to have him. And I was interested to see, how that all went. So this week I play the Asian Pollock, who I always talk about.
Yep.
He has Mahomes, Connor, Barkley, Hopkins, Brown, Burton, Hilton, Butker, and Ravens. I'm going to get beat up.
Oh, you might be in some trouble this week.
Oh, dude.
Holy crap, that's a hell of a team.
Yeah, he has an amazing team.
Wow.
Right, and that's how I felt about it too. And ex-wife, she's 4-3, so she has Roethlisberger. She put him in against Cleveland and took out Trubisky. Okay, against the Jets. Kareem Hunt, Marlon Mack, Golden Tate, Juju Smith-Schuster, Eric Ebron, Balil Powell, which, like you said, she better take out. On her bench, she has Henry, Jones, Reed, Crosby, and Peyton Barber. So she's probably going to have to put in Barber over Powell. I have to let her know. But she's playing her best friend, who is 0-7. The Lynette, who's in our pigskin pick'em.
Yikes.
Yeah, she's having a rough year this year, so it should be interesting to see. Tight ends, I know we know Brandon has one. We think. He has Kyle Rudolph against the Saints.
Of course he does. What does this note say? Went to Notre Dame.
Jake, what do you got, buddy? Tight end.
I got Travis Kelce with the Chiefs this week.
Yep, Mahomes and Kelce, it's not bad. I'm going Gronk. He has to break out eventually, and what better place to do it than Buffalo, where he's crushed him over his entire career. So give me Gronk.
And we're going to have 4 different tight ends. Give me George Kittle, 49ers.
Well,
at
we all have a
Cardinals.
different tight end. No one's tight end's always the same.
Yeah, I know.
Just a fact.
What are you doing? You can tell us.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Oh, I know what you're doing. Never mind. All right, defense. Since Brandon always had to have this, Brandon's defense is the 49ers against the Cardinals.
Oh, my God. Really? That's his pick this week?
That's his pick.
Jesus.
Jake, what do you got, buddy? Defense.
Defense, I got the Pats.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm gonna go just out of sync here. I'm gonna go with the Pats.
Yeah, because you don't want to pay that $100. You're gonna go with the Patriots.
Makes sense.
I mean, let's think about this. The Bills do not have a good offense.
No, they just scored 5 points. Not even 5. They scored
not.
3. They scored 3.
Brandon's. They scored 5. I said no. They scored 3.
They kicked a field goal
because
against
he said
the
they're
Colts
not even going to
defense.
score.
Yeah, Colts defense is bad. I'm going with the Bears this week. That's so easy. They're the top pick. Too freaking easy this week.
Bears.
Too
Same
easy.
here. It's way too easy. I totally agree, and I hope that is right. All right, so last thing we have here for the show. In recent memory, we've had dynasties of Alabama, New England, and Golden State. Who do we see as the next
Did
dynasty?
you say Golden Tate?
No, Golden State.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to
Who
get
do
my
we
Notre
see
Dame plug in because
as
they're
the-
my favorite team ever.
Next dynasty or dynasties, and why? So Brandon and I had the same 3, which is quite funny. But let's go. Let's just start. Do we have anybody as a dynasty in basketball?
I got Celtics. I think in the next few years, you got Brad Stevens. He's one of the youngest, best coaches in the league. You got Kyrie and Hayward, as long as they stay healthy and can stay together. You got Tatum and Brown. You got Mark McMorris. You got a bunch of people on that team. As long as they can keep that team together, I think they can win a bunch of championships.
Yeah, in basketball, I'd agree. There's really nobody else. I mean, like you said, the Lakers are going to lose some young kids this year, so they could be a dynasty if they all stuck with LeBron. I do think they could if they got there, but you're right, Boston has the best chance. Brown, Tatum, Irving, just like you said, Brad Stevens, one of the top 5 coaches in the NBA. I think that's a pretty easy pick for basketball.
Yeah, basketball as well. Brandon has Celtics, young and competitive, and could definitely take over the NBA very soon with Tatum, Hayward, and if Kyrie re-signs. And it says resigns because he doesn't know how to use things. So, grammar.
Typical
I
Brandon.
also have the Celtics. They are the most complete team. Right now, they don't have it together. They just lost to Orlando. They're still getting it. Hayward and Kyrie and those guys have all not played together. Give them time. They are complete. They're going to do it. They're not going to do it this year. Like I said, I know a couple of you guys here took Boston to win the title. You guys both did. And Brandon took Philly, and I took Golden State. I just think Golden State's still the team to beat. Until next year, I think Boston's going to have it back. I know that it was a verbal commitment from Kyrie If he stays, he stays. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Whatever. I still think they're going to be the team to worry about.
So you think if Kyrie does not re-sign with the Celtics, you think they're still going to contend, and you think they're still going to be the dynasty in the making?
You have Rozier. Rozier is just on point. And, yeah, with Tatum and Brown and those young guys, yeah, I think they could. He's not Kyrie. It showed in the playoffs. He doesn't play defense like Kyrie. They need Kyrie. I think they could still do it. They'll find a guy. Danny Ainge is a smart guy. They have the Kings' first-round pick next year, and we know the Kings are not good, so they're going to get another good pick. So if Kyrie doesn't re-sign, they can go get a guard. I don't know what guards are out there in college this year, if there's anybody that's coming out that's going to be good, but we will see. And when does that starts in 2 weeks, right? NCAA?
Yeah, it should. It's normally early November, late October.
We're going to have to do a preview next week then. So you'll be here for that. So we're going to study up on some basketball.
That's a lot of work.
Got to study up on that Zion Williamson.
Yeah, that Duke's going to be tough this year. That's the first preseason rankings just came out, right?
I think so. I don't know who's where.
I think it's Duke, Kansas, Kentucky, and I don't remember the other two. But
Sparty's somewhere in there, and they open with Kansas, so it'll be interesting.
It seems like they always do in the Jimmy V.
The ACC, Big Ten.
Yeah. Well, that's normally a little bit later. It's always the whatever they do one in the Hawaii one, the Hawaii tournament they have. Yeah.
Sometimes on the ship.
The Maui.
Wait, when is that?
Now, November. Oh, you're going.
November.
When do you go to Hawaii? In December?
I'll be in Hawaii. It's after the charity event, so December 10th to like January 10th.
Okay.
So I guess it'll be after that.
I'm going to need you to speak into the mic so I can hear you.
Sorry about that.
That's yelling. Just speak into it.
He's like Brandon when he gets mad. He starts yelling into the mic.
And then he just rambles incoherently. So let's move into, do we have anybody for baseball on our list? I do not. Brandon does not.
I don't think baseball is tough. I don't think so. I mean, just watch the Red Sox go up 1-0 here on the Dodgers. I think the Red Sox have the best chance. I mean, with the Yankees as well, both those teams are really good. The Red Sox have a good core. Their pitching isn't very young, but baseball, I don't think so. I don't see any. I think that it's been. I just saw a stat with Houston not making it is like 18 straight years or 21 straight years of not a repeat champion in the World Series or repeat team.
Really?
No, champion. Repeat champion. Yeah,
you're right, because the last would be the Yankees, 97, 90, when they won 3 in a row.
So, 99 would have been the last year, right?
They won in 2000. They didn't win in 99.
Okay, so then it would be 18 years.
Because they won 4 and 5 years.
So that's right. So 18 years it's been since there's been. So, baseball, obviously there hasn't been. We've seen that. So, I mean, really, I don't see anything.
No, you were right. It's 20 years, because the last time they repeated was 96, 97, 98. They didn't win in 99, and then they won the Subway Series in 2000. So you're right, 20 years.
What Subway did they get?
They got the
sweet onion chicken teriyaki.
The
Definitely
Italian
the
BMT.
Steak and cheese. Okay.
Steak and cheese.
All right, that's fair.
All right. So hockey. Anything?
Wait, hold on. I didn't get to put my baseball pick in there.
Oh, you have one?
Yeah, I got one. So I'm gonna.
The Cincinnati Reds.
Hell no. I'm gonna go with the. I agree with Bear though. I'm gonna go. I think the Red Sox have the best chance. I think the Red Sox and the Yankees definitely start to renew that rivalry more in the next couple of years, like they started to this year. But sleeper pick, I would say the Astros. Honestly, I'm gonna go. All AL teams have the best shots.
I wouldn't say that's a sleeper. I think you're gonna have dynasties those 3 teams are gonna compete, and if any of them come out, it would be Red Sox, Yankees, or Astros, and those 3 could just go back and forth. I mean, I think every year the wild card is gonna come out of the East for the next foreseeable future.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens in the playoffs. But they play that one game, so they'll be the 5th team or 4th team.
Yeah,
they could lose that game
if they don't change that and put in another one and get rid of the stupid wild card thing and put in another team. We'll see. We'll go to football, pro football. I mean, I think right now, looking at it, they haven't won anything yet, but the Rams, I mean, what they have going right now with McVay, with Goff, with Gurley, the defense that they have, I think the Rams could definitely win 2 to 3 Super Bowls. Same thing with the Chiefs. They've struggled a lot in the playoffs with Andy Reid, but they had Alex Smith. So we'll see what Mahomes can do when he gets there, because obviously they will be making the playoffs this year. So if both of those teams went to like back-to-back Super Bowls here in the next 2 years, I would not be shocked. And you know how fun that would be? I just keep thinking seeing a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl. I think that'd be really cool, in my opinion. So I'm going with the Rams or Chiefs, either or. Screw it.
I'm going to agree with Bear on this, too. I think the Rams and the Chiefs both have the potential to both be really good teams. I think they both have good shots at being dynasties. I think the Chiefs, they're fast. They spread the ball. Their defense sucks, but they get their defense together. But out of the Chiefs and the Rams, I'm gonna go with the Rams as well. You got Goff, Gurley, and they're unstoppable.
And Brandon also has the Rams and the Chiefs as well as myself. And what he had said was the Rams, their young quarterback, great offense, great D, that can win now. Chiefs, great quarterback behind Mahomes and could be the next great quarterback for the next 10 years. I agree with him. With the Kansas City, with New England winding down, if this team can stay together, look out. They got to fix some things on defense, but look out for them. They looked good this past week against the Bengals. What was it, 45-10? They crushed them.
Yeah, let's not talk about that one.
Yeah, I'm sorry. And then, of course, like you said, with the Rams, young quarterback, tough defense, good receivers. They're going to be tough to mess with. And, of course, you got Gurley, who's the best running back in the league, one of them, if not the best. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Dynasties otherwise, anything else outside of that?
No, besides Alabama, there's no other college team. It's hard for college teams to have any sort of dynasty. Basketball's a little bit easier because you got less people, but in football it's tough. Alabama is just absolutely crushing. You don't play anybody all year, and then you got to win 2 games at the end, and by that time you're already tuned up for it. So that's why Alabama's up there, but it's tough in college. There is a lot of parity, just like any other sporting event there really is. So there's a lot of good athletes going to a lot of different schools nowadays, and you're just not going to see stuff like you did years and years ago with Celtics winning 16 out of 20, any of that crap. Yankees winning 3 out of 5, anything along those lines. So yeah, with that, I don't really see much going on dynasty wise, but we'll see as we go into sports here.
Right. So usually this is how we end the show. And so I put on there for Jake, he has to understand. He has to, when we end this, usually I give my thing. Bear gives his, so you're going to have to give one for Brandon or anything to say.
He can do it. He's his own man. He can do what he wants.
I know. Whatever you want once we get to it. So, as always, thank you, Jake, actually, for being in here. You're going to fill in for the next 3 weeks for wrestling, which should be interesting. I know you're going to be a lot of sitting back, but for sports too, you bring good things here, good stats. So we appreciate it and appreciate you filling in for Brandon on a short notice. And Brandon's still getting us his stuff, which we appreciate, even though he didn't complete everything and I had to text him to get it. Thank you, Brandon, if you are listening to this. Thank you to our sponsors, as always, All Wear Clothing, Crandall's Quality Lawn Care, Verizon, and PNC, and, of course, Wes Anderson for Moments in Time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night.
Where are all the gummy bears at?
Sorry, I ate them all.